Hello everyone, today we're going to talk about the midpoint formula. So two things that we should be able to do today is we should be able to find the midpoint if we're given 2 points. So down here you see that you're going to be given x1, y1, just means that's going to be any coordinate, and x2, y2. If I'm given 2 points, I should be able to find a midpoint. Also, if I'm given the midpoint and one of these endpoints, you should be able to find the other endpoint, and we'll look at each of those in this video. That's our goal today. So in this formula, you see that we're just adding the x's together and we're dividing by 2. We're adding the y's together and then dividing by 2. And when I do that, this is going to give me a coordinate x comma y, and that point is the midpoint. Okay, so we're going to use this formula for pretty much everything today. So first example here, it says find the midpoint of a line segment with endpoints at -11, -3, and 2, 5. Okay, and we're given the formula there. So let me just label our x's and y's. So this is x1, y1, and this is going to be x2, y2. Okay, and all I have to do here, and let me just highlight the x's in red, and I'm going to highlight the y's in blue. So all I'm going to do here is I'm going to add the x's together. So I've got -11 plus 2, and I'm going to divide that by 2, keep this parenthesis. And I'm going to add the y's together. So I've got -3 plus a -5, so that's going to be -5 over 2, keep that parenthesis there, and then just simplify. Okay, so -11 plus 2, that's going to be -9. So we end up with -9 over 2, and -8 over 2. And then that's going to simplify. I could write this as a decimal and say -4.5 and -4. So these coordinates are directly in the middle of those 2 points that we were given. Okay, here's another example. So again, we're just going to average our x's and average our y's. So my first x is -1, the second one is 3, my first y is 2, and the second one is -2. Okay, so using the midpoint formula, I have -1 plus 3 over 2, okay? And then my y values, I have 2 minus 2 over 2, okay? So just simplify that. That's going to be 2 over 2 and 0 over 2. We'll just simplify to 1, 0. And then since we have this thing graphed, let's see where this thing falls. So the point 1, 0 is right here. And as you can see, that point is directly in the middle of this line. And that's what we're finding. We're finding the midpoint. So here's another example. This time we're given the midpoint. Okay, and we're told the midpoint is 25, 0. One of the endpoints is 30, -5. Find the other endpoint. So just to remember the formula is this: x1 plus x2 over 2, and then y1 plus y2 over 2, okay? And then this equals the midpoint. Okay, so this right here is the midpoint. Okay, so if this is x1, y1, and this here is the midpoint, let's sub those things in. Okay, so I've got 30 plus x2 over 2, and then we have -5 minus or plus y2 over 2, okay, and that equals we know the midpoint is 25, comma 0, okay? And we really just have two different equations that we have to solve, okay? So the first equation would be our x's, so this should equal 25. Okay, so what I have is 30 plus, I'm just gonna call it x right now, over 2 is equal to 25. So you're gonna multiply both sides by 2, and that will give you 30 plus x is equal to 50. So here we get x is 20. So that's the x value of this other endpoint, okay? And then we're gonna do the same thing with our y's. So let me highlight that in blue, and I have this -5 plus y over 2 is equal to 0. So if I multiply both sides by 2, I end up with -5 plus y is equal to 0 still. And then add 5, and I get y is equal to 5. So my x value of the midpoint is 20, for the end point, sorry. The end point is 20. My y value is 5. And that's it. That would be our other endpoint. Okay, so let's do one more of those. So again, I have the midpoint is here. Okay, I have one of the endpoints. So again, to remind you of the formula, you've got x1 plus x2 over 2 and y1 plus y2 over 2 is equal to xy, which is the midpoint. Okay, so the midpoint, we're just going to take it and put it in there. That other endpoint, I'm going to put the x here and the y here. So here's what that's going to look like. We have 14 plus x over 2, and then we have 3 plus y over 2 is equal to 10/6. Okay, so we need to solve for x and we need to solve for y. So I'm going to take the x's and set them equal to the x value. I'm going to take the y's and set them equal to the y value. So we have 14 plus x over 2 is equal to 10. Okay, so if I multiply both sides by 2, that gives me 14 plus x is equal to 20. Subtract 14, we get x is equal to 6. Okay, so that's our x value. For the y value, do the same thing. 3 plus y over 2 is equal to 6. Multiply both sides by 2, and we get 3 plus y is equal to 12. Subtract 3, y is equal to 9. So the other endpoint here is 6, 9. And that is our answer there. Okay, so please go check out the assignment that's on Canvas and practice this until you feel that you are confident that you can find a midpoint and you can find an endpoint if you're given the midpoint and the other endpoint. Okay, let me know if you have any questions. Have a great day.